Man, there are some scriptures in the Bible that talk to us specifically. And one of the best ones in the New Testament, one that I'd like to point out to you, there's a couple of them that Paul wrote that are great, but I want to hit one in 1 Corinthians chapter 16, verse 13. Now, the background to this, Paul was dealing with all sorts of problems in the church. They had problems with sexual immorality, division, people taking pitchforks to court, and all sorts of things, problems with the gifts of the Spirit. But then he said this at the end of the letter in 16, verse 13. He says, "Watch, stand fast in the faith." The King James Version then says, "Acquit yourself, men," or "act like men," some translations say. The New King James says, "Be brave." Different translations say, "Be courageous," "Be strong." And it's interesting, the Greek literally says, "Act like men," "Be like a man." So apparently one of the answers to some of the problems that were going on in the church in Corinth is that at that time, Paul had to turn around at the end and say to the men, "Come on, act like men, be men." Now, when I think of where our culture is, and maybe even where some of our families are today, and even where things today are in the United States of America, and maybe where things are in the church today, I'd almost say this, that if you look, I believe that one of our greatest problems in the United States of America and even in our churches is we need men today. We need men acting like men. We almost need a fresh vision of what manhood looks like, because Paul challenged these men, act like men. Now, I almost think that the fact that he said it that way means that there was a certain image, there was a certain way when he said that men knew what that meant. There was a challenge, and it was almost like, yeah, come on, act like men. And men sort of, if I could say, reset themselves. They got reset back to something. I want to challenge you. When somebody says to you, act like a man, what does that mean to you? And if you don't have a good picture of what that means, I might challenge you to pray and ask God to rebuild the image of manhood on the inside of you. Because Paul said, act like a man. And I might say today, act like a man. What does that mean to you? And if you don't know what it means, you need to continue to watch these devotions, because we're going to do our best to paint a picture to you of what a man looks like.